This season has been disappointing for Manchester United, but there has been bright sparks in the youth. Garnacho, Kambwala, Maino, particularly Garnacho and Maino showing their importance. Højlund and Ahmad also been impressive young players. Harry Amas making the bench versus Liverpool, and no Premier League team has had more teenagers play minutes than Manchester United this season, partly due to injury, but Maino and Garnacho and everyone's fit start for us week in, week out. And if you look at the players that have played for United this season that are teenagers, Gore got a couple of minutes at the end of the Villa game. Kambala's had about 200 minutes. Maino's had about 1,300 minutes. And Garnacho's had 2,000 minutes of football this season. And a lot of this is actually the impact of some work that Manchester United did in 2020. It was believed because of Brexit rules changing. United did a raid of academies, bringing in Willy Kambwala, the most expensive, Sherrardo and Alvaro Fernandez, who for some reason isn't on this list, who were the most sort of hyped up. And then, of course, Garnacho. And it's mad to think that Garnacho got probably the least hype of all these young, exciting talents that United brought in. Willy Kambwala was seen to be the best, and we'll touch upon him in a second. And we're now seeing Kambwala and Garnacho touch upon the first team. Sherrardo unfortunately didn't work out, and Alvaro Fernandez has not really been given a chance yet, but he's a top player. Hansen Aaron not really been given the chance, but he's a top player. But some special talents. And the two main talents this season, one's come through the academy, the other's come through the academy. Garnacho was brought at age 14, 15, which United are doing at the moment with a couple of talents. They only brought Amas last year, who we're going to touch upon, and then Maino's been here a long time. And we're going to talk about the future of United, the current young players, story about them, but actually some players that could be even better, some players that could break through in the coming years that could be even better, even more talented for United. Because when I say the under-18s is good, I mean, I think they'd probably beat our first team right now, to be honest. 9-1 versus Liverpool, thrashed them, battered them, embarrassed them. I tell you what, our first team could use some lessons from this, although luckily we didn't drop points to Liverpool. We saw, Scallion score within a second. Why have I said Scallion? Completely messed up his name, but you know what I mean. Wheatley getting hat-trick, Williams scoring, Bianchiri scoring as well. Bianchiri, again, like Harry Amas, signed only a year ago. What Man United have done is they've developed their own talent, and then they go and sign some of the best 14, 15-year-olds. And I'm very critical of Manchester United, if you follow my channel. I'm very, very critical of how awful our recruitment is, but one thing I won't be critical of is our academy recruitment. Because obviously, as I said, we've got Garnacho and Maino, who are now playing international football for England and Argentina, two difficult teams to play through, who were, 2 years ago, we were watching Manchester United in the Youth Cup final, talking about Garnacho and Maino. Now they're representing their country, representing Man United, two of the first names on the team sheet at 18 and 19 years of age. We continue on. This is the under-18s league table. Manchester United are 13 points clear of Manchester City with a goal difference of 47, with 68 goals scored for and 21 against. And the only loss we had is mainly because we just actually had a lot of other squad players out. We've rotated this academy team a lot more than any other team because they've been moving to under-21s and more. And this was a tweet by Academy Scoop that I wanted to dive into before I really deep dive into the concept. And he said this: a volatile first-team environment plagued by injury woes, concerned around mentality and commitment for unpredictable fluctuations in form, very few solidified roles, almost every position up for grabs. When he's talking about the academy, he said Omar Brada, Wilcox and Ashworth likely to come in, leading industry experts with years of experience overseeing successful academy to first-team player transitions at top European clubs and youth-oriented football in mind. A fresh, reconstructed academy setup facilitating the collaboration of best-in-class directors, recruitment staff and coaches, and lastly, a group of 15 to 18-year-old prospects who, in terms of potential, stack up against those at any other club on the planet. Established youth, international, strong mental and physical profiles, top-level technicians, leads me and others to cautiously predict one of the biggest academy graduate takeovers in European club history. What does this tweet mean from Academy Scoop? He's very good with his academy football coverage. What he's basically saying is the first team is such a mess. There's so many issues in the first team. Almost every position's up for grabs. So if an academy player comes in like Maino and Garnacho and plays well, they can take that role. We're talking about Omar Brada and Jason Wilcox, who put so much focus and energy into the Manchester City academy. That's probably produced some of the best players. It's just Man City don't end up playing them. So then Cole Palmer goes to Chelsea and is absolutely brilliant. Lavia could have been another one, but he's been injured. Even Sancho was one of us, Foden, Rico Lewis. They've got loads. Then you look at Dan Ashworth. He's really put a lot of time and energy into the Newcastle academy. Put put a lot of energy into the Brighton Academy. Brighton a third for teenagers played this season. No, Brighton a second for teenagers played this season after United, not just Evan Ferguson, but they've got a few coming through. You've now got people who will run the club properly with a focus on youth and will continue to develop the youth, which has been developing well. You've got Nick Cox and some of the best in class in the youth, and that's one thing United done well. But you've also got that youth team that beat Liverpool 9-1, that brilliant under-18 side. And it could be another class of 92 academy-like takeover. And I don't like to compare anything to the class of 92 because that was so good it's almost uncreatable again. But it's probably the best academy we've had in my lifetime in terms of our current under-18s. And then you talk about Garnacho and Maino, the Youth Cup winners as well. We've got some real talent. I mean, these are some of the names. We've obviously seen Ogunai on the bench, Amas make the bench. Shay Lacy's been injured, but he's seen as probably the Messi of the academy. He's unbelievable. Ethan Wheatley always scoring. Ethan Williams always scoring. The Fletcher twins to come in. Jack Fletcher in particular stood out. JC Fitzgerald, name doesn't get mentioned a lot, always impressed me. Harry Amas, unbelievable. Rian Sheary again signed recently. Dan Gore, he's gone on loan and had injury issues, I think. Toby Collier, again signed a couple of years ago, England international. You know, a lot of the current players are some of the best players for their country at youth ranks. They're technically good, they're physically good, they're athletically good. Everything that our squad is missing. And of course, Ahmet Ibrahimov at the bottom, who's younger, not even registered to the squad, but he's been playing under 21s at like age 14, 15 and scoring. He's unbelievable. We'll get into that. The player that maybe has the most potential to break through is probably still as Harry Anas. Sort of been compared to Gramado and Shaw, a very attacking fullback, something needed in the modern game. Coming across like a Luke Shaw regen, very, very good on the ball. But he's, again, physically and athletically good, can press, can cover mass amounts of ground. So quick, he's hard to get by 1v1, but he's also very technically good. Not only has he got the IQ to spot these good passes, spot these good crosses, but he's got the technical ability to execute that. He's got the ability, the desire, the pace, the hunger that's needed at a club like United, but he's got the crossing skills. He can whip in some good balls. He excels at 1v1. He can carry the ball. He can cross. He can cover lots of ground. He's defensively good, but he's so good going forward, and he can break the lines. He can evade the press. He's almost that sort of complete profile you need. Very, very similar to Luke Shaw, and he's only just turned 17. You look at Ahmet Ibrahimov, age 15. Can play left wing, can play attacking midfield, can play right wing. He currently plays for the under-16s and 18s. He's captained us at previous levels. He made his under-16 and under-18s debut on the same day at age, I think, 13 or 14, scoring against Liverpool in both games. And he's from a footballing family. His brothers, one brother's in the City Academy, the other's in the United Academy. There's Shay Lacy. Shay Lacy's seen as the best of the bunch. I think he's about to turn 17. He can play right wing, attacking midfield. He's very compared to Phil Foden because of his elite technical ability, how good he's on the ball. That's why he's compared to Phil Foden. He can play anywhere across the front four. He's so technically good. Man United and England rate him super highly. At the beginning of the season, he was playing a lot for England, scoring goals, getting assists with both feet. Was unbelievable for England. Obviously, he's been injured, missed most of the season. He's lighting up the under-18s and 19s at age 15. He has the close control, the technique, the dribbling, the flair, the agility, he has everything. On the ball, he's so aesthetically pleasing to watch. He can evade the press a bit like Maino, keep the ball, but he's got the ability to dribble in and out players with ease, glide past that low centre of gravity dribbling, but also the technical ability to spot out and make these great crosses and switch your plays and final breaking passes, breaking the final line of defence, playing people through. He's got the pace, he's got the creativity, he's got the flair, he's a good dribbler, he's a good passer. He's got everything you need. He makes things happen and he's got good output, and his dribbling is at the top. People even compare him to Messi. Obviously, that's a crazy comparison to make, but he reminds me very much of how Phil Foden looked when Phil Foden was 16. He's very, very talented. And I think he's so rated because of how he uses his small frame and body well to dribble in and out of tight angles, protect the ball, carry it. His decision-making skills, his intelligence, his tactical awareness is better than the first team. For his age, he's absolutely elite, one of the best playmakers to put the right weight of pass, so the technique. And he's got a good shot on him, got some good ball striking. And as well, he works well off the ball, he presses, he's got a lot. And if you look at United, our academy's done well in recent years. And I think this current crop of under-18s is our best. But we've also done well in recent years. You know, Alvaro Fernandez hasn't quite made it. A lot of these players haven't quite made it, but they're still registered with the squad. Every player on this list is registered with the squad. And that doesn't even include Willy Kambwala, who I need to add on. We've obviously got other academy graduates playing. James Garner is doing really well at Everton. Angel Gomez is doing unbelievable at Lille. He could get called up for England, probably won't because Southgate won't. Look at that. Alanga's doing well for Forest. And then we've got other players who haven't quite got hype, but Fletcher's been very, very good. Not just because he's Dan Fletcher's son, but he can play CM, he can play DM, he's 6 foot, he's all round, he's a technically good player. Fletcher's been very, very good as well. There's so many talented players. Kambwala spent almost the last 3 seasons injured, finally getting his chance, and wow, he was outstanding versus Liverpool. Kept Nunez and Diaz quiet. Completely brilliant. Garnacho, unbelievable this season. Does not stop running, does not stop working. He's been brilliant this season, Garnacho. And Kobbie Mainoo, I mean, within 13 games, he's starting for England, basically. Unbelievable player. Unbelievable. And you've got to give Ten Hag credit. There's a lot of things we can be critical on Ten Hag this season, but his treatment and development of youth is not one. He's very good. You know, the outrage when we got rid of Sedan Iqbal, when he said we're getting rid of Sedan Iqbal because I want to pave the way for Kobbie Mainoo. And he saw that. He sees the talent. Ten Hag's talent ID, first team level, interesting. Ten Hag's talent ID at youth level, very good. Ten Hag's ability to develop youth players, we've seen at Ajax, bring the best out of them. It's very good. Thank you for watching. Please do hit the like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. See you next time. Bye.